So delighted to have you join us today. God bless you for wherever you are watching us. I deeply appreciate you for coming to join us in today's session. I believe, God, that at the end of today's session, so many information would have been given to you. Your mind would have been expounded. You would have a better understanding on some important aspects in your relationship. Don't forget, we have been looking at this topic, that is moving your relationship to the next level. And our core focus is on how to build a successful courtship that would metamorphose into marriage. Remember the other episode, I did tell you that it is not all relationship that leads to marriage. This happened not necessarily because it was not meant to lead to marriage, but each or both partners failed to do what is required of them to move their relationship to the next level. And don't forget, I did tell you that it is so important for you to come to the point of adjustment in your pursuit of marriage. As you move your relationship from point A to point B, it is very, very important for adjustment to come into place. In today's episode, I'm going to tell you the importance of agreement. There's this scripture I love so much, Amos chapter 3 verse 3. It says, "Can two walk together except they agree?" It's trying to explain to us the importance of agreement in working together. For you to work together, for you to have marriage as your focus, therefore, the importance of agreement must not be ignored. Now, you make this agreement so as to enhance your adjustment. Now, before you come to the point of adjusting, there must be agreement. Both of you must have agreed on certain things that will enhance your relationship. Because before two can become one, both of them must have made necessary adjustments and they must have made necessary agreements. Because marriage is not just sharing the same bed, marriage is also sharing the same life. So before you go ahead to share the same life with someone, it must be that you so much agree, not 100%, but fundamental issues about your individual lives and your collective lives, you have reached a certain level of agreement wherein you have come to agree that certain things are accepted, certain things are necessary. This and that must be put in place for the union to grow. Now, what are those things you must come into agreement with? Don't forget, I've continued to emphasize the point that this agreement or this adjustment or all these necessary ingredients must be in place before the marriage. You don't wait till the marriage date before you begin to talk about these things, because as at that point you're already in a fix, wherein if the point of the element of agreement, the things you need to agree upon, you don't reach agreement, then it will be hard for you to make a strong decision deciding that you will not progress with that marriage plan. So before you get to the point whereby it will be difficult for you to make necessary decision, either to continue or to quit the relationship, then it is expedient of you to reach those agreements right now. Now, let's talk about those things you need to make agreement on. Number one, are you truly in love? You need to ask yourself this, because sometimes the relationship is not fueled by love, but necessity in a certain situation. Now, how do I mean? For instance, let's say there's a lady who is not good in a certain subject, in a certain course in your school, and you felt so sad for her. You reach out to her to help her in becoming good in that subject because it has been difficult for her to pass that subject. Now, out of the desire to help her, you begin to form a relationship. Not necessarily because you love her, but in the process of helping her, you think it is the right thing for you to do to enter into a relationship because of the proximity. You have come to see yourself so often, you have come to share thoughts and decisions so often that your decision to enter into a relationship is felt by the need you are trying to meet. So if she doesn't have challenge in that course of study again, will your relationship still be strong? Because your relationship started on the basis of trying to help her pass a subject. So after she doesn't need your help in that subject, will the love still be there? Will the relationship still continue when you know that the purpose of your coming has been exhausted? You have finished your assignment. Now, if you finish your assignment, will you still be needed? Will that relationship still be needed? Has she accepted you as a lover or a coursemate that is trying to help her pass a certain subject? You need to reach agreement, because I have come to discover that sometimes some people they rely on a passive or an assumed relationship. The relationship is not well defined. It is someone that is holding the perception that this is a relationship, when the other person doesn't count it as a relationship at all. So before you continue to wait upon someone whom you think you are in a relationship with, and you are telling yourself, oh, I'll be getting married to him in the next 3 years, and in his mind, it doesn't see you as such. Agreement. Is this a relationship that is fueled by love, or it is a relationship that has been organized as a result of certain need in your life? Now, after that, you need to also agree on when you are going to get married. Because entering into a relationship, not discussing about marriage, is kind of wasting of time. You are wasting your time. As soon as the proposal has been made and the proposal has been accepted, the next thing you need to begin to talk about is the proposed date. When are we going to get married? I have seen people, in quotes, date or court themselves for 6 years, 7 years, and at the end of the day, they end up not getting married to each other. The guy or the lady goes to marry someone else. And when they confront themselves, the other party will say, look, I never told you I was going to marry you. I only said, let's be going out. And the truth of the matter is, let's be going out is not a marriage proposal. Can you be my friend? It's not a marriage proposal. A marriage proposal must categorically state marriage. Not can you be my friend? Even nowadays, I do hear people say, can you be the mother of my children? That is not marriage proposal. That is the statement that has led so many ladies into baby mama. Because the guy only told her, can you be the mother of my children? Anybody can do that. There's a difference between mother of your children and your wife. So many ladies have entered into the realm of mother of children, not necessarily the wife of the father of those children. So you need to ask yourself, as your relationship continues, progress, when are we likely to get married? And you should receive a definite answer, not an assumed answer, not an answer only God knows. Only God knows is not the point. If only God knows, then only God should have come to propose to you, or only God should have accepted that proposal. So it must be definite. Oh, I plan that we should get married in the next 2 years. Then both of you begin to work towards that plan. The next thing you also need to agree upon as you move into marriage, you also need to agree on ideologies. Ideology and theology. Let me put these two together. Your ideology and your theology. You must marry these two things together and have a concrete decision on it. How do I mean? I have seen situations whereby people from opposite church doctrine get married to each other, and because they did not reach concrete decisions, concrete agreement during the course of their courtship, they end up having difficulty. One comes from a church that doesn't believe in using drug. Another comes from a family that believes using of drugs is not a sin. Now, they end up getting married. The wife is sick. The husband is not willing to take the wife to the hospital because he believes that drug is a sin. Or maybe the children fell ill and they must take good care of the children so that they will come out of the sickness into health. But how do you do that? One believes you have to use miracle water. The other party believes you have to take the child to the hospital. Now, the husband and wife are fighting. One wants to take the child to the hospital. Another one is saying, no, we are taking this child to our prophet. I have seen situations whereby precious souls, precious children end up dying because parents are fighting over ideology, over theology. You need to agree. Are you coming from opposite background? You must reach certain agreement. You must sit down and look at possible things that might be a challenge to your relationship in the future. You begin to visualize the future today. You begin to look at possible things that might happen in the future which may become a crisis. So you need to look at these things and reach agreement on it. Yes, both of you are Christians, but your Christianity is opposite each other. One believes the usage of hearing is a sin. Anybody that uses hearing is going to hell. The other person believes there's nothing like that. You need to talk about it. If not, you fight in marriage. The person who doesn't accept hearing suddenly begins to tell you all the jewelries you used to put on, go and throw it away because it is a sin. Or you give birth to your daughter and you have to fight over either you have to pierce the ear or not. Agreement. You need to agree on your ideology. You need to agree on your theology. You need to agree on those things your church believe as doctrine. You need to come to a point of agreement. Which church are we going to attend? Traditionally, the wife goes to the husband's church after marriage. But what will happen if the wife doesn't believe in the church you are attending and she decides that she will never follow you to your church? And your church believes that if your wife is not following you to their church, that means you don't have rule over your home. Certain privileges or certain responsibility will not be given to you because your wife doesn't follow you to your church. Won't that become an issue in your marriage? You need to agree on your church doctrine. You need to agree on your theology so that you will not end up fighting in marriage over things you ought to have come to a point of agreement right now. Let's also talk about agreement on childbearing. Yes. Someone wants to give birth to just one. The other person says, no, my parents only gave birth to 2 of us. So I've decided that I'm not going to give birth to less than 6. You begin to fight over it in marriage. These are things you need to have discussed during the course of your courtship for the lady or for the man to realize the kind of wife he's going to get married to. The other day I was reading a story, though it's foreign. The lady decided that she's not going to give birth because she doesn't want her breast to sag and she doesn't want to damage her stomach. She has a flat stomach, so she believes childbirth is going to affect her flat stomach. So she decided the only thing they are going to do is adopt. And the man is saying, no, adoption is not part of the plan. We are going to give birth to our own children. They end up divorcing themselves on the basis of the wife insisting she isn't going to give birth, she is going to adopt. And the husband is saying, no, you are going to give birth for me. So this thing might look so ordinary, but these are some of the issues people fight about in marriage. Child rearing. you need to decide on how you are going to rear your children, how you are going to raise your children, the level of discipline you are going to enforce, the things you are going to imbibe on your children. Are your children going to be are your children only going to focus on academics? Are you also going to make sure that their spiritual life is strong? You need to discuss about your children. You need to discuss about the names you are going to give to your children. All these things are necessary. You don't wait for marriage before you begin to talk about those things. You need to talk about those things right now that you are yet to get married. Now, as I begin to round up this broadcast, I also need to tell you that you need to discuss about your location. By the time you get married, where are you going to reside? This is important, especially if you don't reside in the same locality right now, the same location right now. For instance, the husband is in Abuja while the wife is in Lagos. Is the wife willing to move down to the husband's location? Is the husband willing to move down to his wife's location? You need to discuss this right now. Discuss it. Marriage was not planned by God for husband and wife to be living apart. God created Adam and Eve in a specific location. When Adam woke up from the sleep, he didn't need to travel to a long distance or to a short distance before he found Eve. He found Eve as soon as he woke up. This is God's plan. Therefore, if you don't want to introduce your marriage to modern day crisis, it is important for you to follow biblical principles so that you can enjoy your marriage. Wow, my time is fast spent today. Thank you very much for watching this broadcast from the beginning to the end. Please, I request of you to please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. I would love to read your comments in the comment section, and please like this video. It will help us a lot. I will continue from here in the next episode. God bless you. It's time to move your relationship to the next level.